WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany, tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have another single cask and another new independent bottler. This is from Uncharted Whisky Company. It's a 13-year-old Glenallachie, and it's called This Charming Dram. And so what I did is I will actually have interviewed now the co-founder of this independent bottler named Jack, and you'll now listen to his little interview with me about his company and how it came about that there's the Uncharted Whisky Company. Then I'll do my nice little review here, which I did beforehand because it's WhiskyJason. I'm honest, independent, and socially engaged. And at the end, I will actually have a second interview with Jack where I talk specifically about this whiskey. So have fun listening to the interview. All right, well, thank you very much now for staying along. We have the two founders here of Uncharted Whiskies. Please introduce yourselves and tell us what actually was the idea behind this new independent bottler.
Well, I'll just quickly say that. So my name's Dana, and I am living in Scotland. But and me and Jack together founded Uncharted last July. But I'll let you do most of this.
Yeah, sure.
I've just done it in German.
Yeah. So Dan and I are a couple. We're living in the middle of Scotland in a beautiful little village called Fintry. It's about 7 miles from Glenallachie Distillery and about 12 from Deanston. And yeah, we both just come back from the beach this morning, so we're both a bit sunburned. And yeah, it's been great. And yeah, we founded Uncharted last summer. We launched our first product on New Year's Eve, and it sold out within like 3 weeks. It was a single cask of 16-year-old Orkney, and we've just been doing a single cask, at least a single cask every month since then, and it's been going really, really well.
All right. Is the plan to continue every month a new cask, or what is your plan for the future?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. For year one, our goal was 12 months, 12 casks.
Okay.
That was our goal. So we're now we've had 4 done and they're out the door. The 5th one was just bottled on Monday, so that's doing all like the labeling and paying all the tax on it now and that sort of thing. So we'll get that out to all the customers next week. And yeah, we're just booking slots for the rest of them now, so to get them all bottled. So yeah, really looking really good.
Excellent, excellent. I'll just share the website real quick. That is www.unchartedwhiskies.com, and very well made here. You can see the bottles at the moment. We have Smoke in the Water, 22-year-old in the back. We have a Rumors 30 years old, and we have the 13-year-old that we have here that we'll talk about in a moment. Whoops, I've signed up for that, but all right, good. Yeah, don't worry. But that's a very, very interesting thing. You're not just doing single cask, you're also doing cask shares as well. Could you talk a little bit about that also here? And I'll just go over here for a second and see what you have here. The cask shares, and you have these nice little names here, right?
Yeah. So sorry. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. So we're doing all the bottlings, but we're also selling casks and we're selling cask shares. So the idea with this is like, I've never met a whiskey lover who didn't want to own a cask. Like, just have never met one. Doesn't exist really.
Well, after they find out that it's even possible, at the very beginning, it's like I can own a bottle. Great, you mean I can own a cask as well? Oh yay!
Yeah. Well, exactly, because it's really cool if you can own your own cask, because you can choose a distillery like, and what age you want to bottle it at, what strength and what cask you want to mature it in. You can re-rack it and mess about with it, and then you have loads of fun. But the truth of it is it's a lot of money to do something like that, and not everyone can afford to do it. These guys have young families or whatever it is. It's a lot of money. And then even though some people can afford a cask now, maybe in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, whenever it is they bottle it, you've got to pay the government and the alcohol duty tax on every single bottle, which doesn't sound, oh, that's okay. But if you've got 300 bottles or 400 bottles or something, all of a sudden you've got this huge. So anyway, it's very difficult for people to to do that for. So we thought, let's do cask shares when we break it up and give people the same experience, and they can get their own whiskey from a cask that they've had a share of, and they can try it as it's maturing and whatnot. But it doesn't. It's kind of accessible to everyone. It doesn't have to be a huge volume of cash to do a passion project.
Yeah, and just on that, there's a few people doing it, obviously, but we're kind of the only ones that offer the duty in the price. So it's not, obviously when it's going to Germany or different countries right now, you still have to pay the duty when it enters the country, but within the UK, you wouldn't have to pay any other bills. So you pay it once, and that's it. And that, you've got your bottles and you can wait for them and see how it matures, and we'll give you updates. And we did actually, we'll take photos of the casks and send them out to you, and just like a wee report. So it's like owning your own casks, but just not having to, pay a couple £1,000 for
5
doing
digits
it.
sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, excellent. That's great. So that's something to really look forward to. That's basically for the UK market. Very difficult to send whiskey to America in such a manner, or to Australia and so on. EU, more expensive, but still possible. And so that's one thing that's going on there. What makes you special as Uncharted Whisky, as an independent bottler? There's so many out there. What's your USP? What makes you so unique?
Well, where to start with a question like that? I've got a list prepared, actually. So lots of things. So first and foremostly, one of the things that we kind of love about this company is, it's just us. There's nothing else to this company. It's just Dan and I. So see, when you email us saying, "Oh, I've changed my address, my order's wrong," or whatever it is, it's us. Like if you phone Uncharted Whisky, it's me that answers. If you email us, it comes to our phone. It's us. So that's, I think, kind of unique. I also think our casks are really cool. There's just an abundance of independent bottlers, as you mentioned, but there's an abundance of kind of casks that could be more exciting being bottled. So you're seeing a lot of like 6-year-old this, 7-year-old that, and refilled bourbon cask, and and that's fine. And we've put stuff out from refilled bourbon as well because it was excellent. But our first kick of the ball, to speak, it was a 16-year-old Orkney single cask. The second one was first fill sherry butt from Glenallachie. The third one was a 15-year-old unnamed Isla, but we put the clues out there. You can work it out.
We made it more exciting.
Yeah, at cask strength. Then we've got the 30-year-old Isla, and we've got a 23-year-old Lefroy. All cask strength. So really, really cool and interesting wood and interesting spirits, and if it's been done before, we're Uncharted. We're trying to be off the grid malts. We're trying to do something different, and for a young company, and this is just literally run from our flat. I think we've got some really interesting stuff out. We've also got a very pretty bottle.
I totally agree. You designed it yourself, didn't you?
We did with Dana. We worked with a designer to do it, but we've never seen a bottle like this in the whiskey industry before. It's very tactile. So
it reminded me a lot of the Harmony from Hibiki. Totally different, but yet had a little bit of those facets on there.
That ridging,
a lot more of those. But this, I really enjoyed this. Good thick glass, is great to hold in your hand. A beautiful bottle. Wonderful job on that.
It's obviously just a wee extra. It's all about the whiskey, but
sometimes you also want to see the pretty things as well, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And we're using
we're happy with whiskey at bottle.
Yeah. We're using a beechwood cork, and we're not plastic free yet, but we are working towards being plastic free on our packaging as well. So we're not quite there yet, but we're on it.
We're on it.
Right. Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to do my whiskey review now, and I ask you to hold on for a second, and then the two of them will be back after my review.
All right.
Well, welcome back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try this whiskey now before the interview, so I can be very independent of my opinion here. So this is Whiskybase number 175982. In September 2007, this bottle was distilled, or the juice in this bottle, and in April 2021, it was bottled. 13-year-old, and it's in a first fill sherry butt. Yay! Now, they had a total of 799 bottles. And I pulled out my calculator, and I just did the math real quick. I just timed 799 divided by, or times 0.7. I received a, that's not correct. Yep, okay, 799 times 0.7 is 559 liters, which is more than a sherry butt has. A sherry butt only has 500. So what did they do? They diluted it down to 50%. So this is not cask strength whiskey. Okay, why not? Yeah, you can do that, no problem, no problem. But what the market wants at the moment, at least the market in Germany, is non-chilled filtered, no color added, and cask strength. So they could have picked 46, they could have picked 48, they could have picked 50, 52, 56, 54, whatever. They picked 50. It's one of those numbers that, oh, looks good. So what am I going to compare it to? I'm going to compare it to something else from Glenallachie, and this was actually distilled in 2008. This is 2007. And this is a Germany exclusive. This is from the Kirsch import, and they actually did a Pedro Jimenez and a Pinot Noir cask finish. And the most fascinating part of this cask finish is the following: the color. Well, the taste is pretty awesome as well, to be honest. So let's move this over here so we have enough room for all this. So if you take a look at this color, first of all, now I'm not the best person to buy whiskeys just because of the color, but I just want to demonstrate something here. This is a first fill sherry butt after 13 years. Yes, it's a little diluted. This, on the other hand, you do so you notice, this is Pedro Jimenez, and this is a Pinot Noir red wine cask. This is a finish. This is not a full maturation. Full maturation, finish. Full maturation. So the finishes we're getting today are much darker than the full maturation, which is a little bit weird in my opinion. I would expect the full maturation to be darker than just a finish, but no, Pedro Jimenez, PX really adds that color and that dimension of darkness that some people are looking for. Now, this is a 13-year-old, not cask strength Glenallachie whiskey. What should the price be? Well, over here in Germany at the importer, which is deinwhiskey.de, a guy I know, it's 104 euros and 90 cents. So 105 euros. To be honest, that's a lot of money for a 13-year-old whiskey. Yes, it's a sherry butt, but all right, so I do know that they take in the UK, I'm going to just go to that website real quick. And what they do is they have a price of £90. So let's just go and let's do the math real quick again. Let's say there are still the 790 bottles. You time it by a 90. So I'm going to say it's euros instead of pounds at the moment. And you get 71,910 euros. Take away half for taxes, alcohol tax, import tax, excise taxes, VAT tax, blah, 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 blah. And you still have 35,000 euros. You diluted the barrel. All right, good. I don't really think, I know prices of some barrels out there. 35 is a lot of money for a 13-year-old Glenallachie. And by the way, there are not going to be many coming at all. Why? Because since Billy Walker now owns Glenallachie since 2017, he actually stopped the sales of the casks. He wants them all for himself and all for his own projects that he's doing. And so these independent Glenallachies that we still see in the market today are going to become rarer and rarer, but they're out there still. So the question is, where was this cask between 2017 and 2021? That's almost 4 years here. Where was it? Was it in the possession of the Uncharted Whisky Company that had not yet been founded? Or what was going on with that? I don't know. All right, on the nose, and that's the most important thing at the moment. Now this actually has a very typical oloroso sherry moment. It's got a little bit of a spice to it. It definitely has apricots here. Dried apricots, a little bit of a date. Very, very nice. But it's the smell of dozens and dozens and dozens of other whiskeys that I've had in the last year. I'm getting a little bit tired of just a sherry cask. That's my problem here. All right? Sorry, me. Again, a sherry cask. Again, a sherry cask. Again, a sherry cask. Can't you do something a little bit different? Ta-da! They did. So, Glenallachie actually put a Pedro Jimenez and a Pinot Noir cask, wine and the raisins together. PX is for me just pure liquid raisins. And they created this monster of a whiskey with 53.9% alcohol by volume ABV. And it's so much better. You get the raisins. You get a little bit of the Christmas cake. You get a little bit of red wine berries. This is absolutely gorgeous. 70 euros, 105 euros. 50% more for this. Is it worth it? Well, yes, the bottle is beautiful. Look at that nice little feature here. It looks a little bit like the Hibiki Harmony. It feels good. It's got a good, nice glass bottom. It has quality. It just might be that I am at the moment sick and tired of independent bottlers bringing out sherry casks whatsoever again and again and again and overcharging us for a product which just is not worth the money that I'm paying at the moment. So I did the video before I talked with the two. They will see this after we've done the video, after I publish that. So sorry. You're one of maybe many different independent bottlers I've had in the last 2 years. And yeah, so, and I'm just missing that little bit of a spark, a little bit of something that's special here. And I'm looking for value for money as well. That's my problem. All right, cheers. I very vividly remember the first expressions that Billy Walker put out. They were for the, I think, the 200th anniversary of the distillery. And they were little 0.5 liter things. I bought a couple of them. And every single time I tried them, or also I had a sample of it, it was always, I had grapefruit with mineral. Very mineral type of moment. A little bit of a chalky type of mineral moment with the grapefruit. Ta-da! And then I have that red apple, that red, I don't know if it's a red apricot, but apricot dried fruit moment here, which is typical for the sherry moment. Is it a good whiskey? Is it a bad whiskey? No, it's a C whiskey. It might even be a C plus. Is it worth 105 euros? Nope. It's a D whiskey for value for money. This is not something I can go, hey, look, it's a bargain. You're going to get something more than you expect. You're going to get exactly what you've had many times. And it's a question of what makes this the USP, what is the unique selling position of this bottle. Is it really just the bottle design? I'm not sure. It didn't wow me. Sorry, guys. Am I going to go, ooh, egid, never do this again? No. But it's just another sherry matured whiskey out there for a over €100 price tag. If you dilute it down, I've done this once before in my German video. I'm going to take it down to this time almost 43%. Doesn't change much. It does get a little bit more of a floral moment on the nose. Yeah. Nice lemon sherbet moment towards the end. All right, C plus, D for the value for money. All right, so now I'm going to ask specific questions here about this whiskey, and I will be back for my closing statements. So, my first question, Jack and Dan, if I may, is where did the cask come from? It's from Glenallachie, I know, but Billy Walker took over the distillery 2017. Since then, he hasn't sold any more casks. You started basically New Year's Eve, what was it, 2021 or 2020, and now you have a cask from 2017. Where did it come from?
Well,
Can
we've
you
got a
tell
cask.
me?
Yeah, sure. So a cask came. It's 2007. Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2007. So not 2017. So it's a wee bit older than this. So Glenallachie, this is really interesting. If you're interested in it, is Glenallachie is an awesome distillery. It's a classic Speyside, super smooth and silky, and that's just its spirit. That's what it's been. And one of the reasons for that is it used to be an absolute powerhouse of Speyside, and it produced huge quantities. And it was so today Glenallachie is operating at approximately 20% of what it could produce. And it was built like that because it used to feed everything. So they would do their own single malts, they would sell to blenders, they would sell to people like I don't know, I'm making this up, but like Famous Grouse, Johnny Walker, all the big names, they would sell to everyone. So essentially what's happened with this, because at the time this was made, Glenallachie didn't have a huge input of cash into it. They weren't spending a lot of money on good quality wood, but they were selling spirit. And the reason for that is Billy Walker didn't have anything to do with it, way back then. He bought it in 2017, so this was 10 years prior to that. So this spirit was sold to one of the other major players in the whiskey industry. I won't say who, and they bought it as new make spirit and filled it into first fill Oloroso sherry. So because they had the money to be spending on really good quality wood. Because in 2007, if you recall, we're still in the midst of the financial crash. The whiskey industry was really taking a hard time at the, and there was a lot of distilleries kind of lowered the production at that point. So that's how we got our hands on it.
Oh, excellent.
But it's something really interesting. Just to say, I just totally diverge. It's like, see all of these amazing Glenallachies you're tasting coming out of the distillery now. None of them were made. Billy Walker's only owned it for 4 years, so he's not released a 4-year-old. So all this sort of stuff predates it, and what he has done is spent a fortune on really good wood and like re-racking a lot of stuff that was in refill wood and boring wood and making some really spectacular finishes, which is brilliant.
Exactly. Now this bottling and also your first bottling was 50%. Since then you've moved back to cask strength. What encouraged you to use cask strength, which we in Germany love more than anything else?
Well, I guess initially we thought 50% was really cool, because I've got a lot of admiration for some indie bottlers that do it at 50, and I also love Bruichladdich on Islay, and they do everything at 50 or above. So we thought like that's what we want to do. We want to give people the option to buy it high and water it down in the glass as they like it, which is fair enough. And so we thought 50 was a good way to start, particularly for this Glenallachie here, because it's natural cask strength, despite being 13 years old, was 64.7%. Which would blow the socks off of anyone. That's really strong. So the other thing about it is if you go at that strength, you pay a lot of duty to the government, and you get a lot less bottles out of your cask. So it just drives the cost up. So it was just trying to balance, where does this taste really good with where can we get it like a fair price to the end customer. And that's kind of why we went at 50 in the end. But the feedback was, we got asked that question a lot, like, why have you gone at was 50 not cask strength? So we said, well, it looks like people want cask strength, so everything we've done since then has been cask strength. But with that comes, you got to pay the government a little bit more alcohol duty. So
especially in the UK, not so much in Germany, but especially in the UK.
Yeah. So,
But the nerds, the geeks, the whiskey freaks out there just love the cask strength, and so I think that's, as an independent bottler, the right way to go. Non-chilled, filtered, no color added, and cask strength. Those are the magic words, at least in Germany at the moment. So you're an independent bottler. This was £90 for this bottling, 13 years old. You're not at the lower spectrum. You're at the medium or upper medium spectrum of the price segment. You have a 30-year-old Islay whiskey. Come on, that's going to be a little bit more. Is this going to be your goal to have really off the grid, really expensive unicorns, or are you going to also have whiskeys at a more affordable price for normal drinkers, or is this just for collectors and connoisseurs?
No, we want to do it for everyone. So whiskey, we want everyone to be able to enjoy our whiskies. So yes, on the rare day that we do get a chance to get a 30-year-old Islay, of course we're going to grab that and put it in a bottle. But no, we don't want to exclusively go down this kind of higher end market thing. Yes, we will go there when we have a cask that is suitable for that. But I mean, we've also got some absolutely stunning stuff that is coming out very soon, which is much more wallet friendly.
Like our Loch Lomond, our peated Loch Lomond, a 14-year-old. We're done a cask strength, really small run. It was only 210 bottles we got out of the can. It was just a small barrel, but it was such a good dram.
Was it a bourbon barrel, or what was it?
Yeah, it was a bourbon barrel. But it had this really nice sort of almost creamy note to it, and the peat was really mellow. It was still there, but just a lovely dram. And that was £69. So we're not always gonna, but it's just because when you get offered a 30-year-old Islay or a 23-year-old Lafroig, you're not going to say no if you can make it work. So that's what we did. And
totally agree.
But our next bottling hopefully will be around sort of the same sort of as the Glenallachie, or lower actually. We're trying to balance it.
Just to say something else on that note though, it's like, see if you went to the distillery and bought a bottle of cask strength Lafroig at 23 years old, or or like even the 30-year-old, for example, which is from this unnamed Islay, which we've made it really easy to work out. You would have to just about remortgage your house to get a bottle of it. So I get that £300 plus is a lot of money to pay for a bottle.
But in comparison,
but in comparison to that, it's almost like it's made it achievable if somebody wanted to ask for it for the birthday or the Christmas, or save the pennies
or retirement,
try something which might otherwise be a bit elusive to them.
So we try to keep them as cheap as possible for everyone.
Now, what about distribution? Can we buy this in South Africa? Can we buy this in Australia? You can buy this in the US. Where's your distribution at the moment, and where's it going?
So this is a tough one because they're single casks. We just got one. In 189 countries in the world. So we've only and this one here, which was the sherry butt, which the Glenallachie we're talking about. There was 799 bottles yielded, and that was the biggest run we ever did. So I'm sorry, we've not been able to get it to every country in the world because there was only that many bottles. But we sent some to Germany with Sebastian Becker at Dime Whiskey. Good guy. He took some of it, and
that was our first.
And that was our first ever export.
Yeah.
Anything else that had just stayed in the UK? I say anything else. There'd only been one bottling before that one, and then Sebastian's getting some of every cask that we do. Sebastian's getting some of it at Dime Whiskey, so that the guys over there in Germany who are kind of supporting our brands and want to follow us and try all our different stuff can always get it. It's not everywhere yet, but we'll work on it. We're working on it.
We're trying to grow organically.
Yeah. All right. Very good. So if there are any people out there in different countries that would like to contact Jack or Dana. We heard that you'll actually land on their phone with every email, so do contact them.
It's right there.
UnchartedWhiskies.com, and you can find the email, and you can find also there. You're on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, so you're also there and looking to do good things. I'm very excited about where this is going. I look forward to see you maybe at a trade fair, a whiskey fair one day. Who knows where it's going to be? Maybe in Germany, maybe in the UK someplace, maybe in Scotland. Who knows what's going to go on there. And I wish you all the luck for everything in the future, all right?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time. Bye-bye.
All right, see you later. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
All right, thank you very much. I hope you like this form of a review. I do it every once in a while, not very, very often. I'm trying to do it at least once a month. Let's see if I can keep up that or not. All right, so going over here to Glenallachie, the cuvée here for the German market. This stuff is excellent. This is a B-. I really like this, and it is cask strength, and it's 70 euros compared to 105 euros. All right, WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany, tasting rare and exotic whiskey, single cask, German exclusive. Hey, that's the way it is. Thank you very much. Like, subscribe, tell others, and maybe even share this whiskey video if you'd be so kind, and get the word out that Uncharted Whisky Company is there, and they're doing interesting things. Am I excited about this bottle? Might I be excited about other bottles out there? We'll see what happens. All the best. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.